is John Green and welcome to Crash Course U.S. History. Today we're going to be talking about the most important topic of all. Not really, but it's religion. Religion involved the Great Awakenings, the Puritans, the Enlightenment, fundamentalism, and new religious tolerance.
Mr. Green, what about Pastafarianism?
As I like to say, the importance of a historian is measured by the amount of globes that he has. Stan, I can only find 2. So when people think of religion, they typically think right off the bat Christianity, Judaism, Islam, but religion in the U.S. started way back when all the pilgrims came to America first. The people that came to America were looking for some religious freedom away from Europe. So the radical members of the Church of England were the separatists and wanted nothing to do with stupid Great Britain. So they wanted everything to be completely separate. These dudes became the pilgrims, but their buddies, the Puritans, only wanted the Church of England to be reformed and purify it. So they got their names, the Puritans. Skip ahead 100 years, and the Great Awakening is taking place.
Mr. Green, is that when everyone was sleeping and then got woke?
Yeah, no. It was a movement of spiritual renewal in the New England colonies. People wanted to get close to the Holy Lord above. All of this shizzle was caused by the Glorious Revolution in 1688, which was a bloodbath between all the different religions, and the Church of England came reigning the supreme ruler of them all. Another one of the factors that led to the Great Awakening was the Halfway Covenant, which is a form of partial church membership created in New England in 1662. It was promoted in particular by the Reverend Solomon Stoddard, who felt that the people of the English colonies were drifting away from their original religious purpose. Fast forward 1789, and the First Amendment was created.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people placeably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
The Enlightenment movement of the mid-18th century allowed new ideas to form in philosophy and religion. It occurred in many different ways, but Christianity was affected the most. This movement brought the beginnings of the Enlightenment because of the new ideas that caused scientific and philosophical ideas. It was a movement towards science and less focused on religion. Bam! 1 year later, and the Second Great Awakening is here.
Mr. Green?
No, me from the past. It's not about sleeping.
Well, actually, I was going to say that it was reaction to rationalism, which is the belief in human reason.
Oh, well yeah, that's actually right. It was supported by the educated people, such as Reverend Timothy Dwight, who will become the president of the all-prestigious Yale College. People weren't really all for the Christian stuff anymore. They started to favor a religion that focused more on personal piety. This is when the Mormons came about. Here we go with the Mormons. Also, this is when Mormons came about. They were a religious group that formed during the whole Second Great Awakening movement. This religion formed in 1830 by a man named Joseph Smith. So, the Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints was established in New York, but they eventually moved to Illinois. So, a lot of people didn't like the Mormons and said, "This is a cult," and murdered Joseph Smith. But, not to worry, Brigham Young took over the people and everyone moved to the great state of Utah, specifically Salt Lake City. People still didn't like them very much because they practiced polygamy, which is where a dude can have 12 wives. Transcendentalism was another movement during this time, and it had a focus on nature. These people practiced self-discovery and God in nature. Some of the most well-known people were Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. In the 1880s, some Protestant dudes were going around preaching the social gospel, which was the importance of applying Christian principles to social problems. These guys taught that religion and human dignity could help the poor overcome problems of industrialization. The social gospel movement was led by Washington Gladden, a man with a beard. Fundamentalism was the preaching in the literal truth of the Bible. The key point was the belief in creationism, the idea that God created the world in 7 days, and it was the explanation for all origins of life. Modernists had a different look on the Bible and believed that they could accept Darwin's theory of evolution without abandoning their religious beliefs. Let's go see what's in the secret compartment. It's a monkey! This must apply to the Scopes monkey trial. The Scopes trial was a debate between religious fundamentalists in the South and modernists in the North. Modernists wanted to challenge the constitutionality of banning the teaching of Darwin's theory of evolution in schools. So, they got this guy named John Scopes to teach it in class one day to basically frame himself. So this guy was taken to court, and literally the entire nation was following the whole thing in newspapers and radio, because that was the hip thing these days. In the end, Scope was convicted of it, but later overturned on a technicality. Laws were not teaching evolution were in place, but rarely enforced. Schools today are still on the edge about teaching this. Following World War II, religions experienced a large change through expansion due to the increase in the building of many religious centers. Religion was experiencing some of today's modernism, with religious tolerance growing and less traditional aspects being present. Books such as Protestant, Catholic, Jew by Will Herberg commented on this. Today, there are a variety of religions people follow. It started off as just Christianity being the main religion, and everybody just having their different forms of it. But today, there are 4,000 religions across the world. Their strict religious traditions are also changing in today's time as well, such as the election of Pope Francis on December 13, 2013, who was the first pope to be born in Latin America. This is just one example of the changing times in the US and across the world. Religion affects each and every one of us in our daily lives, and most of the time we don't even notice it. Religion has changed the entire nation. It has brought people together, torn them apart, started war, and resolved conflicts. It is still a major debacle in the United States and all over the world, and probably will always be. Religion remains to be the largest conflict within and outside the U.S., but is always affecting the U.S. in such a way as immigration and sending people off to war. Who knows if religion will ever not be the source of interaction, both good and bad. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week in Crash Course. Crash Course was produced and directed by Brooke Hammond. Our script supervisor is Adriana Hansen. The associate producer is Amanda Cook. The show is written by Adriana Hansen. A special thanks for Brian Yarborough and President Trump for being here today. As I say in my hometown, don't forget to be awesome.